What's going on, everyone? So the wife and I have been moved into the new home for about 2 years now, and I've been meaning to do a new game room tour, I just haven't got around to it. And considering we're snowed in due to a freak snowstorm, I thought, what better time than now? So I got 3 rooms I want to show you. First up is probably my favorite room of the house, believe it or not, the theater room. Let's check it out. So yeah, this is the theater room. This is where the wife and I hang out, watch movies. I do have the newer consoles in here, the PS5, the Switch, the Xbox One. I don't have an Xbox Series X. I have a gaming PC that kind of took the place of that, but we'll get to that later. I think I even have, the Wii U down there and some of the mini consoles, like the NES Mini and all that kind of stuff. 75-inch TV. This was the same TV that was in our living room in the old house. We did plan on getting an 85-inch until we got this up on the wall and realized it was enough. So, obviously over here we got some of my wife's DVD collection. Say what you want about physical media, but some of this stuff you can't find on streaming services, so yeah. Over here we got more DVDs, some of our VHSs. I wish we had a better way of displaying these, but you make do with what you got, I guess. We wanted to keep this room more TV and movie themed, so the wife has some of her movie and TV show themed collectibles out and about. I do gotta highlight the recliners. You probably can't see it in the video, but they are plugged in, which would make you think that they are motorized recliners. They're not. They just happen to have lights. Kind of unnecessary, but kind of cool, I guess. And I can't forget to mention the sexy Jeff Goldblum, which really ties the room together. Well, anyway, that's the theater room. Let's go check out the studio. So yeah, this is the studio. This is where I've been spending a lot of my free time lately. I'm really hoping to get some music out there this year. I know I've been saying that for the last 5 or 6 years, but things are finally coming together. To start off with the desk, so the thing about the previous house was the wife was nice enough to let me have the master bedroom, and that's where I shot most of my videos. However, originally that was meant to be my studio, and then I started collecting. So it became the studio / game room. Then I started working from home, so it became my office. I also tried streaming, and also the wife and I would play arcade games in there from time to time. So long story short, basically every time I wanted to do something different, I had to reconfigure my desk, and quite frankly, that became a headache very quickly. Now, I didn't plan on streaming from this room, it just kind of worked out, but I did get a gaming PC a couple of Black Fridays ago. I'm gonna be honest, I'm not the biggest PC gamer, I just kind of wanted an all-in-one package, and it does what I need it to do. Everything is hooked up, ready to go. This is the microphone I use when I stream. It's also the mic I use to record overdubs for videos. I might use it for vocal demos. But yeah, this has made my life so much more simple, and I couldn't be happier. Moving on over here, I got my primary amp. This is a Mesa Boogie Dual Rectifier Roadster. I love this amp. I can pretty much dial in just about every sound I could ever want. Although I have switched to amp sims for recording, but I'm not going to bore you with that. Over here I do have my electronic drum set. I don't really consider myself a drummer, but I can kind of fake my way through it. I'm going to be honest, I've basically been using this for cardio recently. And over here I got my piano. Again, I don't consider myself a pianist, but I have enjoyed learning it. I just wish I had more time to devote to it. Over here I got some of my guitars. Obviously I got some on the wall as well. I've been playing guitar since I was 11, and while this may look impressive, I'm gonna be honest, I've never spent over $1,000 on a guitar. Most of my guitars are pretty cheap. For those who are interested, I did do a video a couple of years ago going over my guitar collection. However, I had added a couple of guitars since then, so if anyone's interested, let me know in the comments below. I wouldn't mind doing an updated video. Well, anyway guys, that's the studio. Let's go check out the game room. Sorry, had to grab a drink. Come on in. Well, this is it. Welcome to the game room. I can't tell you how happy it makes me to actually have my collection out on display. In the old house, I had stuff like stashed away in closets and boxes and furniture, and it was pretty crazy. But I tried to keep things pretty uniform for the most part. I don't know if that's my my history at working at retail, but over here we've got some loose NES, Super Nintendo, N64, and Sega Genesis games. If you see some gaps, that's just placeholders for future games. Over here we got some boxed NES, Super Nintendo, N64, Master System, Sega Genesis, even some 32X, Sega CD, Sega Saturn, some Game Boy Advance games down there, Nintendo DS, 3DS. I don't really collect for those much. We got some PS1. After that, there's pretty much just a mess of Dreamcast, TurboGrafx. I think there might be some 3DO games in there. Who knows? And then at the bottom, there's some PSP games. Over here, we got some Xbox games. We got the original Xbox, 360, Xbox One. Below that, we got some PS2 games, PS3. Next up, obviously, we got PS4. I do have the PSVR games separate, just so they're easy to find. PS5. And then there's my sad little GameCube collection, Nintendo Wii, Wii U, the Switch, and then that down there is just a hot mess of just random shit. Then above the games, as you can see, I do have my boxed consoles. You know, for someone who wasn't that interested in collecting console boxes, I got a few, which is why I had to add this recent addition. I didn't think that was going to turn out very well, but I'm kind of happy with it. Moving around the room, I do got to highlight the Nerdstillery Championship belt. I'll just hold on to that. We got a couple of video game soundtracks on vinyl. Over here, I really wanted a way to display some of my comics instead of just hiding them in closets. Right now, I got my Sonic collection out on display as I recently completed my first 50 issues. I'm pretty excited about that. This shelf here, I literally bought just for future expansion. So right now, it's just got some of my handheld consoles and various other crap I didn't know what to do with. And hey, look, more console boxes. We do gotta highlight the Macintosh Classic. I really wish it worked, but hey, what are you gonna do? But if it did work, we could play some Oregon Trail. Yeah. And over here we got the consoles, which we play on this nice 32-inch CRT TV. Now, not all of these consoles are hooked up and ready to go, but the ones we play the most are like the Sega Genesis, Sega Saturn, Dreamcast, NES, Super Nintendo, N64, Xbox, PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, and the GameCube down there. Several of which I do have EverDrives for, which I was kind of against at first, but it's just kind of made my life a little bit easier. Obviously, I'm not going to talk about every single console, but we do got to highlight a few of my favorites. Over here, not really a favorite, just kind of cool. The gold Famicom Mini. It's got a bunch of weird anime games on it. I don't know what the hell half of them are. Probably should have dusted before I did this, but one of my favorite consoles, this is the Taco Bell PS4. I think only 6,500 of these were made, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, this is 2,073 of 6,500. My wife literally found this in a pawn shop in the middle of nowhere, and they were selling it for like $50 more than a regular PS4, so yeah. Below that, we do have some 360s. I have so many Xbox 360s because I just find them at yard sales for like $5 or $10. But nothing super exciting. I do have the Modern Warfare 3 one, which it's Modern Warfare 3. But the one I do like is the Halo 3 edition, which is kind of neat. It's a little bit beat up, but hey, what can you do? It's still kind of cool. Down here at the bottom, my Sharp Twin Famicom. So this allows me to play Famicom games if I desire to, but also Famicom Disk System games. It's just kind of a weird console, and I just really wanted it. And moving to the other side, I do gotta say this Xbox is modded. It's actually got a bunch of games installed to it. I actually forget what's on here. I haven't turned it on in a while, so maybe I should do a video on that. I do gotta point out, because I'm just curious, I have 3 different colored PS2s here, and it's not really for show. It's because I had these problems where, like right now I have the white one hooked up, and it'll work fine, but then I'll put a game in and it just won't read that game. So then I switch it out for the gray one or the black one, and it'll work fine. But then all of a sudden another game won't work on one of those consoles. So then I hook up the white one again and that game works fine. It's like certain games just don't work on specific consoles. Am I the only one that has that problem? Anyway, probably my favorite console is my Japanese Toys R Us exclusive Sega Saturn. What makes this different than a regular Japanese Sega Saturn? That Sonic logo. That's it. Yeah. We got a recently retired one down here. This is the PC Engine Duo R. I bought this because I really wanted to play PC Engine CD games until I realized how expensive they were. So because of that, I ended up getting the PC Engine Core Graphics just because it was cheaper. And hey, the Turbo EverDrive works in it, so yeah. I guess I gotta mention the art on the wall. Most of it, but not all of it, is from an artist named Rusty Shackles. He does do conventions. I think he's from Ohio, but I could be wrong about that. But he doesn't tend to stray too far away from this area. And lastly, I was nice enough to let my wife have a section of the room to herself. Obviously, these are a lot of her toys. Believe it or not, this shelf was actually in the kitchen of our old house. Personally, I want to get rid of this and maybe get some shelves or something, but hey, a game room is never truly done, right? It's just a constant evolution. And of course, no game room is complete without a place to sit. Not the most comfortable futon in the world, but it does have cup holders, and that's important. Anyway guys, this was kind of quickly put together, but I hope you enjoyed. Thanks again for watching. You know what to do: like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff, and I'll see you again next time.